Happy Wednesday to everybody. It's good to see everybody here. We have a great amount of you, and we're super excited to have you here in the lesson. We're starting a new chapter today. If you guys like battles, if you guys like war, this is the chapter for you. We are talking about the Persian Wars here. So, you know, now that we've talked about Athens and Sparta as separate city-states, kind of doing their own thing, they are kind of forced to come together over this common enemy called Persia. So we're going to talk about what happens there. I do want to take this opportunity to welcome two assistants I have today. I'm very excited to have these two ladies representing our class today. We have Rochelle and we have Ashlyn. Ladies, good morning. How are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. As always, we kind of start out with, you know, your expectations of the class today. It's going to be kind of a short note-taking day and just kind of an explanation of this chapter. So what do you guys have for your classmates as far as expectations? Ashlyn, why don't you go first?
Just to pay attention and to take the notes so you can do well on our quiz.
Absolutely. Great advice. Rochelle?
Yeah, I was thinking of the same thing. You just need to pay attention so you have the notes.
Yeah, that's a great recommendation for your classmates. I will say this, we do not have a TCI test for this chapter, so you will not have to go and take this on Friday. However, we do have an assignment, a homework assignment due Friday that I'm going to give you today. So that's going to act as your grade for this chapter. So please make sure that you're in a good spot today to take notes, to do the activity, and we're going to go ahead and get started here. I'm going to show you guys Edsby here real quick, so make sure that you are on screen view, that you are looking at the screen. And this is what I posted today in Edsby. Our objectives, there's several of them. We're going to take notes about who Persia is. We kind of touched on them when we were talking about Mesopotamia, because remember, they took over the Neo-Babylonians, and that was kind of all we mentioned of Persia. Next, you're going to predict what happens in the battles between Athens, Sparta, and this big giant, Persia. And then you're going to examine each battle of the Persian Wars. And that's what your battle analysis sheet is all about today. So you get to really talk about who won, why they won, what tactics they used, and what generals were involved in both sides. There are no IXL skills today. You're going to join here, which you are, welcome. And then some of you guys will join later there on YouTube to see the lesson today. And I have attached the PowerPoint that we're using today in class. So that is there on Edsby for you. You can see it right below there. And I'll definitely make sure that that is there for you. And then, of course, guys, your work due. Obviously, it's not due today, but it's due by Friday at 2 o'clock. Okay, Friday at 2 o'clock. Remember, we switch things. All work is now due on Fridays. Tests are on Fridays. So the Persian War battle analysis will be due Friday by 2. You guys can take a photo. You guys can email it to me, however you want to turn in. I'm not picky about it. There is an extra credit opportunity attached to this chapter, and I'm so excited to tell you guys about it. Maybe some of you guys already checked it out. It's already up on YouTube, but I'm going to talk about the extra credit opportunity available to you. And then, of course, all of your resources, all of your questions, you can use this platform to ask, okay? My office hours and meeting ID is here. So this is what I posted today, guys, and that is there for you. Yes, Nikhil.
So this isn't really for this, it's for, my question is for Miss Melanie. Do you know if she has one, like a Zoom?
Yeah.
I went on her Edsby and it showed for me for the to-do thing, nothing. For the objective, nothing.
Okay. Well, maybe check back after this lesson. It might have delayed posting or something. But yeah, check back after this lesson. Thank you for asking. That's a really good question. And we're going to go ahead and talk about our agenda for today. So thank you for checking back with me here on the screen. Before the agenda, I actually found a quote, and this is kind of a coincidence, but I know on Monday, Sophia chose a quote, and this is the quote that I already had made for this PowerPoint, and it's the same author. It's Mandy Hale. So I thought that was really cool that she picked an author that I already had ready. And a little shout out to Sophia today. It's her birthday. So let's give her some thumbs up and some applause. Happy birthday, Sophia. What a great way to celebrate by joining in on the live Zoom lesson. So thanks for being here with us. And this quote is dedicated to you. It says, "You don't always need a plan. Sometimes you just need to breathe, trust, and let go and see what happens." So for me, this has shown true in my life because I'm such a planner. Oh my gosh, like I plan this, and if this doesn't work out, I plan that. And, sometimes you're left disappointed if they don't work out. So sometimes you just need to let it go and breathe. That's my word of 2020. It's definitely served me well. Hopefully your words have too. And I just thought this was a really great quote by Mandy Hale. So sometimes you just need to let go, okay? And we all know the famous movie that says that. So yeah, anyways, thank you for kind of listening in on that lovely quote today. Hopefully it works for you in some way in your life. If not, maybe one day. So this is something I actually used to do with my students. We did Where in the World Wednesdays, and I thought I would bring it back because it's a really cool thing. I would kind of describe a place and they would have to guess where it is. So obviously it's going to be Persia, spoiler alert, but I just like the explanation of it. And that used to be our Wednesday bell work like a long time ago. Anyways, it stretched from the borders of India and China in the east to large parts of Greece and Libya, which is in Africa, in the west. Currently, modern day, this area is known as Iran. So we've heard of that in the news a lot. And then a boy in the civilization was not allowed to see his father until age 5. Where in the world is this? Well, I told you it was Persia. And I want you guys to kind of look at this map here. We have other maps today to look at, but that orange color really just like mystifies you how large this empire is. And it's the largest empire that we've ever seen at this time. And it just grew and grew and grew. And it's just amazing to see how large it is. And you can see right here that the next stop is Greece. And that's kind of like the looming doom that this chapter carries, is like, what's gonna happen? Oh my goodness, they're like headed to Greece. So yeah, that's what this chapter is all about, guys. I'm really excited to go and talk about this empire. It's just really amazing. So thank you guys for having your notes ready. We're gonna get started with the notes. Before we do that, we're gonna maybe take some questions if you guys have any questions. I want you guys to take a look at this map. This is a little bit better of a map. It's from TCI. And again, the green area is the Persian Empire under Xerxes. Now, Xerxes was not the first leader. So this was a while after the Persian Empire has established itself. And then look at itty bitty little Greece right here. Oh my goodness. Like, it's like obvious, like, oh my gosh, Persia has the advantage. Look at how much land they have. Even here in Egypt and Asia Minor, it's kind of like a mouth, like a weird Pac-Man in a way, just ready to scoop up Greece. Like, it's just inevitable. But we know Greece, we know they're tenacious, we know that they are scrappy, and who knows? So are they going to put up a fight against this big empire that's coming their way? So we're going to go ahead and start our notes. Please have them out in front of you. And I'm going to kind of take you through on who Persia is, how they got started, what made them so large so fast. If you guys have any questions before we do these notes, please raise your hands. Maddox.
So wait, they conquered all the other civilizations we learned about
They
so
did
far?
eventually. Yes, they did
Oh,
eventually.
okay.
Yes.
That's pretty
Actually,
sad.
one of the first leaders we'll talk about today, he actually died in Egypt. That's where he was taken over. So,
Oh.
yeah, pretty crazy. Ashlyn, Rochelle, if you are unmuted, what do you guys think of Persia? Like just seeing the map of them, what kind of predictions do you have?
Kind of feel like they're gonna take over Greece because like they had such a huge amount of land.
Yeah, it's almost just kind of like inevitable, isn't it?
That is
Yeah, it's kind of
overpowered.
scary. It's very overpowering and very intimidating, really. That's a great statement. Juliana, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that they're like very like I guess like they're a powerful like land. I guess. Well, is it a country? I don't know what.
It's an empire.
Oh, empire.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, it's probably like a very powerful empire, and they might like take over Greece soon.
Yeah. Does that kind of like make you sad after all we've learned about Greece so far?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's like, oh man, like, but they're so cool. So yeah, so in this chapter, we're definitely going to learn what happens. So if you guys are like, you know, war people or like battle people, this is going to be like the chapter for you. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the notes that you should have out. They look a little like this. I kind of color coded them sort of to kind of be like your Cornell notes, but they're definitely not Cornell notes for sure. They're just kind of fill-in notes. And here's your essential question here. So what factors influence the outcome of the Persian War? So that's not something I'm going to reveal to you. I'm not going to spoiler alert who wins. That's for us to kind of go slow and read about and learn about. So today we're going to learn who the Persians are. Why are they so big? Who are they? What do they do? How did they gain their power and gain their momentum? We're going to describe one of their kings, definitely not the only king, but one of the main ones. And then when Persia started to take over Greece, because we did see them there, what is kind of the order of events that are happening? Now, down here is your optional extra credit, which we'll go over later. So this is just space for you guys to plan out your extra credit if you want to do it. But we'll talk about that later. It's going to be super fun. And that's the sheet you should have out for right now. All right, so sharing it back to the PowerPoint, which has all of your notes, we are going to learn about these Persians. So here we go, guys. Make sure that you can see the screen or hear my voice to write these down. Okay, in the beginning, who are these Persians? They are a small group of nomads. Ashlyn, do you remember what a nomad is? Rochelle, do you?
I don't think so. That was like a long time ago.
Yeah, I'll give you a hint though. Remember in India, when we studied ancient India, nomads kind of started and came down. Does anybody remember? Anybody from the class remember? Nope, nobody in the chat. Nope. Oh, gotcha. There we go, Ashlyn. Do you remember what a nomad is? You are able to talk.
Okay. I wasn't sure if I was on.
Yeah, you are.
No, I don't remember.
No. I'm seeing here in the chat, they were wandering people, wandering tribes, people with no religion. Yeah, those are definitely right, guys. Nomads are people who just kind of moved from place to place, kind of moving from shelter to shelter. Maybe when the food ran out, they would move to another place. So that's who the Persians were these nomads. And they gained power in their conquering by taking over their neighbors. They took over Mesopotamia. They took over Egypt, India, Europe. So guys, on your notes, this is a spot for you guys to write this down or type this down. They conquered their neighbors very fiercely. One of the ways they did that was through archery. They were very, very good at archery. and they would unleash storms of arrows on their opponents, a surprise attack. Now, one of the things that I'm really sad about that we're not in the classroom for this chapter is we watch clips from 300 with this chapter usually. And it really does accompany this stuff really, really well. It tells the story really well. And yeah, it's just unfortunate that we can't show the clips because, you know, we have to record this and then I can't put it on YouTube, you know, licensing stuff. So anyways, if you are allowed and you have access to the movie, it is a higher rating. So I would ask your parents, but it's a really great movie that really shows a lot of these scenes we're talking about. But like I said, I only show clips for a reason because it gets a little nasty. Anyways, so one of my favorite scenes in 300 is one of the Spartans goes to Leonidas and is like, oh my gosh, like I heard they unleash arrows and it's, you know, crazy. And Leonidas goes, then we'll fight in the shade. Because, you know, sometimes the arrows would cloud the sun and you wouldn't even be able to see the sun because it was so many arrows. So that's one of my favorite lines from that movie is we'll fight in the shade. This is pretty cool. Anyways, who is in charge? Who's the king? Well, we know when Persia took over the Neo-Babylonians and Nebuchadnezzar II, it was Cyrus. Okay, so Cyrus was really the first leader of the Persian tribe. And then his son took over. And then King Darius, I think, was the third or fourth king in this reign here. So he divided the empire into 20 areas. He collected taxes. He assigned his men to different areas, almost kind of like Emperor Qin did, like the 36 districts. He allowed the conquered people to keep their customs, to keep their religion. He basically just said earth and water. So what that means when they come to your city steps and they say earth and water, it's just like, let us have free reign of your empire. You guys keep your religion. You guys keep your culture. You keep everything. We just want to have access to this space, this land. So a lot of people were like, okay, fine with us. And so they were able to be conquered like that. One, they probably couldn't fight that massive army. So they just kind of, you know, let them come in. And they didn't really meet any opposition until they got to Greece. So, you know, rightly so. And then Darius ruled for about 36 years, okay? So I know on your notes, there's like a little area to write about Darius. So go ahead and take some of those key notes there and write those for him, okay? It's really, as you guys are writing in the movie 300, it's just really cool when the Persians are coming in waves, as far as like when the Spartans kind of get that wave, the next one will come. But each wave is like a different outfit, different costumes, different weapons, different tactics. Like each, you can really tell that these Persians are different groups of people that were conquered, and different animals even from their land, from their geography. It's just a really, really cool scene to see like all these different types of tribes. They don't all look the same, okay? As opposed to the Spartans, we know we have their big shields, they have their spears, and they have their, you know, apparent capes and the red. So they all look the same. But in Persia, it's really cool that they don't, that they all kind of represent the culture that they come from. So that's who the Persians are. Any questions before we go to the next slide? I think somebody asked, I think it's rated PG-13 or rated R. One of those two. So yeah, that's why I said ask your parents first. Owen, what's your question?
I was gonna ask, in like the Persians, did they have school? Were their school teachings any similar to Athens or Sparta? Were like were the kids like forced to go to the military like Sparta, or like was it?
Yeah, that's a really great question. Since Persia's main initiative was to conquer land, what do you think?
Probably, so they were probably like Sparta, kind of. Okay.
Exactly. So that's all they cared about. And then once they had that domination, then maybe they could think about that. But their goal was to take over 100%. Good question. All right, so moving on to our next slide. Hopefully you guys got those notes. If not, you can check it on either the rewatching of this lesson or on Edsby. All right, so the Persian takeover of Greece started in Ionia. Now, Ionia is Greece's neighbor to the east, kind of the southeast. It's a small but very wealthy region on the Aegean Sea. You guys know the Aegean Sea, so it's that little area. So Persia kind of hit that first, and they took their farmland, they took their harbor, so they couldn't escape and they couldn't hide. Ionians had to pay tribute. Ashlyn or Rochelle, do you guys remember what tribute is from previous chapters?
Like give?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like give?
Yeah, they had to give. It's almost like a tax, but like a gift, like an offering. And they were forced to pay these offerings to Persia. And then they were forced to serve in the Persian army. So that's pretty interesting how they just like, all right, fight for us. They called the Athenians actually to come help. And the Athenians did a really, really good job of holding off the Persians for a while. But they're like, all right, peace out, guys. We got to go back to Athens. You know, we got to vote. We got to do democracy. So once the Athenians left, they took over Ionia. Persians took over. So they defeated them. When they tried to rebel, the Persians further punished them by destroying their city, by burning the city of Miletus, and they were definitely punished. They weren't like embraced like they should have been at first. So that's kind of how it started. On this next slide, I have a really, really great map that shows like the path of the takeover. Yes, thank you guys. 300 is rated R, FYI. People have been looking it up. Thank you guys for doing that. So yeah, ask your parents first. This map right here, take a look, guys. I really, really like how they made this map. There's definitely a lot of different routes. So first, let's take a look at Darius. Darius is the more thinner dots right here. And so from Ionia, which there's the arrow, it's right here, he was then going to attack Greece by doing kind of like a water campaign, like using boats to hop, like island hopping to, you know, of course, Attica, where Athens is. And then from there, kind of take over. So unfortunately, the only battle that Darius fought for Persia was the Battle of Marathon. So right here, he made it there, but then sadly, maybe not sadly, but sadly he died before the next battle. So his son, whose name is Xerxes, again, a very pivotal scene in 300 when Leonidas meets Xerxes, like it's really intense, really, really intense scene. So again, Xerxes is like 10 foot tall and he's got makeup on, he's got his gold, he's got piercings, and Leonidas is like, what, who is this guy? It's really, really cool. So anyway, Xerxes, take a look at his routes. He has the thicker lines and he decided, you know what, we're actually gonna attack and kind of surprise them and go up this way, some by land, some by sea, and then kind of sneak around and come this way. So he had a different strategy. And of course, Xerxes would fight in the Battle of Thermopylae, which that's right here. That's the battle with the 300 Spartans. So the movie 300 actually highlights the Battle of Thermopylae right here. And then of course, he'll fight in the Battle of Plataea and Salamis as well. So those are the other battles of the Persian War. So again, this is a really great map that shows a lot of the conquering and the strategy behind the Persians. Yes, Jack, that is. I'm not gonna say it out loud, but spoiler alert. Yes, that is. Anyway, so that is our map today of that Persian strategy. So the 4 battles of the Persian War are the Battle of Marathon. That's the first one with Darius. Then he died. And then the Battle of Thermopylae, where Xerxes takes over. The Battle of Thermopylae is the 300 movie. And then the Battle of Salamis, and then the Battle of Plataea. Okay, so those are the 4 battles. So basically, I'm going to go ahead and take this opportunity to talk to you guys about the extra credits, okay? And I'm really, really sad because of the reduced schedule, we can only do a chapter a day now. And usually this chapter I spent a few days on because we did a lot of fun activities. One of them was I had you guys write a news report. And the news report was to warn Greece that Persia is kind of approaching. And you guys are gonna it's kind of like maybe a breaking news report. And in the news report, you would say like, oh my gosh, Persia is this. They kind of are scary. This is what they can do. This is what they have done. This is what we need to look out for. So it's a really fun activity, but obviously we don't have the time to do that. So a news report is usually how to tell Greece that Persia is coming. So I, last night, recorded myself doing a news report. I kind of had like a background back here, and I was kind of reporting the news when I got the news that, you know, Persia was attacking. So if you guys would like to record yourself doing a breaking news about Persia in your own creative way, then you guys can get some extra credit for this chapter because we don't have a test. So some of you guys might need that extra credit. So if you want to film yourself, go watch my YouTube video that I posted yesterday, and it should be similar to that, but maybe do your own thing. Don't try to copy me. Anyways, just kind of tell the news who the Persians are. So if you have any questions about that, you can SB message me later. But that's your extra credit. It is optional. You don't have to do it, but it's fun. And I know that we're always looking for kind of things to keep it interesting in our classes. So if you guys want to do that, I'd love to see them. Send me videos of you and your newscast if you would like. Let's see if there's any questions. The newscast, you can do it by Friday. That's a great question. You can do it by Friday if you have the time. It's not due at the end of the period. I would never ask you to do that. My video took me a few hours, you know, with editing and things like that. So yep, you can do it by Friday. If you want to see mine, I actually put it on my YouTube channel, so you can go watch it there. And yeah, so thank you for that. So we're going to transition to your homework assignment, which is the battle analysis sheet. So I'm going to take my time kind of explaining that to you. But before I do, and this is a chance for you guys, if you want to participate, to predict what you think is going to happen. Now, if you've read the chapter, don't spoil it for any of us. Don't say like, well, I already know this happens. Don't do that. But what do you predict based upon what you just learned about Persia? Based upon what you know about Athens and Sparta, we know they're very unique city-states, but we know they're tough in their own ways. We know there's 4 battles. What can you predict will happen in these battles before we do that? Leilani, what is your prediction?
I think that Athens won't do as well as Sparta, since Sparta is mostly about war than like than about education. And I think Athens will most likely lose the war because I think they spent more time doing like education and politics than doing military things, like working in war, like working on their war skills.
Yeah, that's a really, really great point that you make as far as Athens goes and looking into strategically, would they carry their weight? Ashlyn, how do you feel about Leilani's response? Do you agree?
Yeah, I do, that Athens wouldn't do as well because they're not as focused on the war.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great point. Rochelle, what about you?
Yeah, they don't really include the girls as well, like Sparta.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's another great point you make too. Mr. Abrams, what is your prediction here?
I think that the Spartans will probably team up with the Athens and probably make like a giant big group of people and attack them.
That's a really great strategy too, because yeah, while Athens and Sparta kind of butted heads a little bit, now they have a common enemy in Persia. So maybe they unite together and try to make a bigger population to go and get Persia. That's a great, great prediction. Maddox, close us out with yours.
So I believe that what would happen is that, even though maybe, since Greece has more, like, I would say, has, I don't know the correct words for it, but let's just say that they have more inventive devices.
Yeah.
So like a telescope or something. So
Mhm.
they're able to see the enemies coming farther away. So Athens sends like the word out to everyone to probably evacuate. And
Ah,
so when the Persians do come, they won't be able to kill anyone. They'll take the land and stuff. So I believe that also that the Athens, of course, will come over to Sparta asking for help, and maybe they will allow them to stay there for refuge. But in return, that they have to help fight in the war, so that they can at least maintain their land and earn back their homes.
yeah, that's a great prediction too. Very specific and very detailed. I like that. That means you're looking really, really into those city states and their mindsets, and that's a great prediction. So next, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to show you your battle analysis sheet. So this is what is going to be due on Friday. So basically, it allows you to really elaborate on those 4 battles. Okay, and I talked to you guys about the names of those battles. I'm going to kind of go through how to do this so it's easy for you and that you guys are excited to read about the outcomes of each battle. So for up here, it tells you exactly what I need for the who. It tells what I need for the what, the how, and the victory. So you'll see that each battle has a who, what, a how, and a victory. Okay, perfect. So it's all the same. So first and foremost, for the Battle of Marathon, since that is the first one in the series of the battles, who was involved? So you're going to explain what leaders were involved. So for this one, I would put Darius of Persia, and then I would read on if there was a leader mentioned for Athens or Greece. So make sure you put the leader, okay, the person who fought, because it's important to know, because Darius only fought one battle before his son took over, okay? And then what? So for the what, you're going to explain what happened in this battle, okay? We'll get to that in just a second. How means what were the factors in winning this battle? So maybe Greece had a special tactic. Maybe Persia had a special weapon that they used. Maybe Persia was just massive, so many people. So how did that victory happen? And then, of course, who got the victory? Was it Persia or was it Greece? Okay, so victory is very simple. You just write who won. You don't even have to write why, because the how is explaining how they won. But the victory went to which empire. Okay, and then again, the Battle of Thermopylae. Okay, and then you would do the same thing. Who was it? What happened in the battle? What were the factors in winning? And who came out winning this battle? So you guys are probably wondering like, well, how do I read about it? Ashlyn, Rochelle, how are you gonna know about these battles?
TCI.
Oh yeah, see, it's a resounding TCI, exactly. So let me show you guys how you would obviously go look at this. I'm gonna pull up TCI for you so that you can kind of follow along with me in kind of looking how you're gonna get the info. So it's chapter 28. We have moved on, and I have selected the text along the side here. Once I've logged in to my TCI account, I have selected the text. And if you take a look at the sections here, it starts with the Battle of Marathon. So that's what you're gonna start with. Now, I don't wanna spoil anything or give you guys the answers of who won, because I want that to be something that you read, that you're excited to read. So basically, you'll read about the Battle of Marathon, or don't forget, it can read to you.
3. The Battle of Marathon.
So you can do that as well if you don't feel like reading that day or whenever you do it. And then you're going to go down to the Battle of Thermopylae. Again, you're going to read what the battle has entailed and then talk about it. It's a little slow. Okay, so it looks like Xerxes is the one in charge. And then you're going to go to all the other battles. Okay, don't read the summary, don't cheat. Okay, you want to read about it and read who came out victorious in these wars. Okay, and then that's your assignment. It's due on Friday by 2 o'clock. Ashlyn or Rochelle, can you think of any questions that your classmates might have about this activity? Any questions?
Don't think that they should. If they listen, they wouldn't really have any questions.
Okay. I'm going to take it to the class to see what questions they have. Matthew Baxter?
What was the fourth battle?
The fourth battle, if you go back to the PowerPoint, it's Plataea. Plataea. Juliana?
Wait, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Wait, my hand was up because somehow it like glitched me out, so I was wondering if I like missed anything.
Okay, no, we got you. You're here. And then you can always go back and watch it too if you think you missed anything. Maddox, do you have a question? Maddox? All right, we'll go back to him in a second. Will, did you have a question at all about this activity?
Yeah, how do you spell the fourth battle? Sorry.
Oh, how do you spell Plataea?
Yeah.
It's Platea.
Platea. Oh, okay. Thank you.
And then I also, guys, wanted to show you, I obviously did this activity, and I just want to show you how much writing you should have. I don't want you to do the bare minimum. So this is my Battle of Marathon. I'm going to hide the result, but take a look at that. That's kind of mostly what I wrote for my what when I explained the battle. So make sure you really explain the battle. And, you know, I want to know that you guys know what happened and what really, really set that battle apart. So please make sure that you don't skip out on that, okay? Yeah, so that's kind of how you do it. Liam, did you have a question?
I never got the second, third, and fourth parts of Persia taking over Greece.
Okay, no problem. You can always go back and watch this, or I posted the same PowerPoint on Edsby, and you can go and fill in what you missed. Sound good? Okay.
Yes.
Great, thank you. Sophia.
Just now, I just checked on Edsby, and I didn't see the PowerPoint that you posted.
Okay, after this lesson, I'll go back and make sure it's there. Okay? Something must have maybe glitched or something. Thank you for reminding me to do that. All right, guys, so that is your activity for today. You can use the rest of this time today to start on the battles. Remember 4 battles and then kind of like the who, what, when, where about each battle. And then if you guys want to do the extra credits, please do that. It's going to be super, super fun to see you guys behind, you know, the camera, behind the news screen. Take a look at my video on YouTube to see my example of it. If there is any more questions about the lesson or about anything today, please pop them in the chat real quick, and I'll try to get to them. I would definitely want you guys to do the battle analysis really, really well, and I want to give you time to do that. I know it's not due till Friday, but please feel free to turn it in whenever you have it done. You can definitely turn it in early. I'm not gonna, you know, mark against that. So feel free to turn that in whenever you wish. Again, it's so good to have you guys today. Any closing remarks, Ashlyn or Rochelle, from assisting today? Anything that is cool about this chapter or anything that you just want to say at all?
Never give up on your dreams, especially in hard times like today.
Yes, that's important to never give up on your dreams. You have to dream big and you have to set your goals high. That's great advice, Rochelle. What about you, Ashlyn? Any last words?
I have a quote I'd like to share if that's okay with you.
I'd love it if you shared your quote.
Okay. The quote is, "Light can be found even in the darkest of times. Only one remembers to turn on the light."
Oh, that's precious.
So just remember to stay positive and try your best.
Has that quote helped you being out of school and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely I know could help a lot of people as well. So thank you guys for joining on this lesson, chapter 28. It is the only lesson of this chapter, no test. And when I see you guys again, we're gonna start a new chapter, chapter 29. So I'm super excited. It talks a lot about mythology. So we'll get some mythology up in there. We'll do some trivia. And then it also talks a little bit about all the really cool things that came out of Greece: Olympics, theater, science. So it's a great chapter. So thank you for joining me ahead of time in that chapter. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you have a beautiful Wednesday. And you guys know that you can always Edsby me for any questions. And I hope to see you guys soon. All right, guys, I'll play my little crystals for you guys to send you off. I know we missed this. Have a great day, guys. Bye.